He was just a quiet single dad, serving tables in a French restaurant, invisible to everyone, until 5 men in black stormed in and grabbed the billionaire CEO. No one knew his past. No one expected what he'd do next. But when a little girl whispered, "Daddy, can we help her?" everything changed. What happened that night would uncover hidden skills, expose betrayal at the highest level, and awaken a love neither of them saw coming. This isn't just a rescue story. It's a story about courage, trust, and the quiet power of a man who walks away from fame, but runs toward danger when someone needs protecting. The rain came down in shimmering sheets, glazing the cobblestone streets of Boston with a silver sheen. Outside La Lumiere, the city's most exclusive French restaurant, a valet rushed to shelter a sleek black town car with his umbrella. The double doors swung open, and in walked Evelyn Hart. She wore a tailored charcoal coat that skimmed her calves, its collar turned up against the cold. Beneath it shimmered a silver evening dress, understated, elegant, expensive in that way that never needed to try too hard. But her eyes, framed by subtle makeup and soft waves of chestnut hair, held the unmistakable weight of exhaustion. Not the kind that came from working late, but the kind that came from fighting too long alone. At 38, Evelyn Hart was the youngest female tech billionaire in Boston's history. Her name had graced Forbes covers and congressional hearings. Her AI financial platform, Quantum Heart, was shaking up Wall Street. And yet, she dined alone. The maitre d' bowed as he led her to her usual corner booth, where golden candlelight danced off crystal glasses and silver flatware. "Welcome back, Ms. Hart." She nodded politely, scanning the room out of habit. Old money at table 3, a nervous young couple on their anniversary near the window. And there in the far back near the kitchen was a man she didn't recognize. He wasn't dressed like the others. Faded green fatigues peeked out beneath a black apron. Tall, broad-shouldered, with wavy brown hair tucked behind his ears, and a jawline that belonged in old Hollywood. He moved with quiet precision, balancing plates, folding napkins, refilling glasses without needing to be asked. For a split second, their eyes met. His gaze wasn't hungry or impressed. It wasn't even curious. It was steady. Like he saw her not as the woman behind the billion-dollar brand, but as a tired soul trying to breathe. Then he turned away and disappeared through the swinging doors into the kitchen. She stared at the empty seat across from her and sighed, a toast to silence. In the kitchen, Ben Walker placed a tray down with quiet care. He wiped his hands on a towel and glanced toward the little girl sitting on an overturned milk crate in the corner, swinging her feet. "You good, Peanut?" Lila grinned up at him, 7 years old, dimpled cheeks, wearing her favorite pink hoodie with a faded unicorn. "I'm coloring your face," she said, holding up a napkin covered in marker scribbles. "But I gave you a mustache this time." Ben chuckled under his breath. "Remind me to keep the markers locked up next time." She tilted her head. "Is that the lady from the magazine out there?" He paused. "What magazine?" Lila pointed to a wrinkled copy of Time someone had left near the dish pit, the one with the robot money lady. Ben glanced through the small porthole window. Sure enough, Evelyn Hart seated alone, looking like she belonged to another planet. Beautiful, sharp, and untouchable. He didn't know her story, didn't need to. The world was full of people running empires while feeling like they were drowning inside, just like he had. Back in the dining room, Evelyn pushed her salad around the plate and checked her phone. 10 unread messages, 3 calls from her board, 1 from her ex-husband's lawyer, and a photo from her assistant, a cake with the words, "Q3 dominated congrats boss," spelled out in binary frosting. She locked the screen. A shadow passed her table. "Would you like your entree now, ma'am? Came?" A quiet, steady voice. It was him, the man in the apron and military green shirt. He held her gaze without flinching. "Yes," she said. "Thank you." "Ben," he replied. A pause. "You don't look like most waiters." "I'm not," he said. "Just helping out." She gave a tight smile. "Well, Ben, you move like someone who's been trained." He didn't blink. Used to be Navy. Now just a dad. Something flickered in her eyes. "Thank you for your service." He nodded, then gently placed her plate down. Perfect timing. Perfect placement. Then he was gone. From across the room, 5 men entered. No one noticed at first. They came in spaced out, one pretending to take a call near the bar, another adjusting his coat by the window. All dressed in black. All dry despite the storm. Ben's eyes caught it instantly. It was the way the tallest one glanced toward the fire exit and gave a subtle nod. The way the shortest man's hand stayed inside his jacket. Not out of cold, but habit. Tactical. Coordinated. He turned back to the kitchen voice, low and even. "Lila. Crate. Now." His daughter knew the tone. She slipped behind a storage rack without a word. Ben reached under the prep table and pulled out his jacket. Same old beat-up field coat with the faded Marine Corps patch, the only thing he'd kept from a life long buried. Then he exhaled slowly, because something was about to go very wrong. Outside La Lumiere, the storm rolled in deeper, the rain thickening into icy needles that tapped against the window panes like a metronome counting down. The warmth inside the restaurant now felt fragile, like a delicate flame about to be snuffed out. Ben Walker stood in the narrow hallway between the kitchen and the dining room, arms crossed, shoulders still. His eyes tracked the 5 men as they spread throughout the room, like ink dropped in water. Not loud, not clumsy, but wrong. His mind clicked into old rhythms. Identify, isolate, neutralize. The SEAL code had never truly left him, just lay dormant beneath the quiet of fatherhood and dishwasher steam. Near the bar, one of the newcomers took off his gloves and folded them neatly. Ben caught the glint of something metallic beneath the cuff, not a watch. The shortest one pulled out a phone pretending to scroll. But he wasn't reading. His gaze kept darting across the floor plan, and when he tapped the screen, Ben saw the rhythm, 3 taps. Pause. 2 taps. Another signal. Another seated just a table over from Evelyn. Hart leaned back in his chair, arms relaxed, too relaxed. His coat hung open one side, bulging slightly under the ribs. Holster. Ben's jaw clenched. This wasn't random. It wasn't a robbery. It was a targeted operation, surgical, silent, and rehearsed. And Evelyn Hart was the center of it. In the kitchen, Lila peeked out from the pantry curtain. Daddy Ben knelt beside her and gently placed a hand on her shoulder. "Remember our rule." She nodded, voice a whisper. "Stay small. Stay quiet. That's my girl." He pulled a small key from around his neck and unlocked the storage cabinet behind her. Inside were emergency supplies, not weapons, just instinct first aid kit, burner phone, emergency rations, and a rolled sleeping mat. He handed her a small flashlight and tucked her napkin drawing into her coat pocket. Her lower lip trembled. "Are they bad people?" He hesitated. "They're dangerous. But I need you to be brave, okay? Like Mommy used to be." Lila nodded, and her tiny arms wrapped around his neck with a fierceness that cracked something deep inside him. "Promise you'll be okay," she whispered. "I will." Back in the dining room, Evelyn Hart shifted uncomfortably in her seat. The wine no longer tasted like anything. Her gaze lingered on the tall man by the exit, the way he didn't order anything, the way he kept his hand low near the small of his back. A voice, quiet and oddly calm, spoke near her shoulder. "Don't look. Just listen." It was Ben. He stood beside her table, one hand pouring water into her glass, the other resting on a folded napkin. "There are 5 men in here who don't belong," he said. 2 near the exits,